So, hello everyone. Hello,
Hi.
uh, and welcome. So today we're going to hop right into it, and should be recording. Looks like it's recording. Perfect. And talk about the attraction quadrant. So as we move into the new year, a lot of people want to evaluate and reevaluate what things they prioritize. Just as I fix this camera so that you can see this a little better. There you go. What things they prioritize for the upcoming year. And it's a great opportunity to look at what things you want in your life. And so basically, that's redefining the things that you're attracting in your life. So what you want to focus on, where you want to place your attention for this year, your, let's call them New Year's resolutions, are your attractions, are things you're going to attract to your life. So we thought it would be a great opportunity to hop in here and actually talk about how to create and how to define your attraction quadrant, for whatever spiral you are creating when using Unity currency.
Yeah, and I think it's important to clarify also that attraction is a law. It's something that is innate in our universal surroundings to support us. And it's also the first quadrant or the start of the spiral. So it's really important to focus and hone in on what you're trying to attract or what you would like to attract, because it kind of starts the spiral in that initiation. So what's the intention behind what you want to attract, and how that intention is the momentum that starts the whole spiral in the beginning. So being very clear in what you want. And I think when you go through, what are you attracting for the self, what are you attracting for the collective, and what are you attracting for the planet, it really confronts you on where your energy is at and what really are you attracting in your life. Because if you don't have answers to all of those questions, it makes you go in a deeper dive of what's next.
Yeah, and confronting is a great word, because when you're doing this attraction quadrant, it's going to bring up what needs to be released. It's going to reveal to you all of the areas in which you are out of alignment with the desire in which you're putting down. So expect things to show up that no longer is in alignment, so that, and with that expectation, allow for it to rise, because it is aligning you with what you actually put down. Starting your spiral, the ignition of that spiral will then allow you to clear all of these things if you welcome it in and just recognize it's a part of the process. So the way I like to start the spiral is create the grid. And if you need to see that, it's the square with the pyramid and the spiral in the middle.
We can maybe put a picture in the comments.
Okay, great.
Later.
Yes, I'll add that in, or go to our community page where I'll write something up on there so that you could see it. It's also in the playlist called Law of Potential, Attracting, Giving, Manifesting, Receiving, Unity Currency, which is also on the page. So as you draw this out and as you start this off, give it a title. I like to encourage you to give it a title, because then you know what this is all lining up to. Starting with the attraction, what are you attracting for this title? You could do it for your own life. You could do it for a car. You could do it for a house. You could do it for a wonderful 2024. You could do it for the Christmas season and the holiday times. You could do it for whatever. It doesn't matter what you do it for, but give it a title so that you know where the focus is aligning, and then move into your attraction quadrant, which should be on the bottom left of your drawn quadrant. It goes attracting, giving, manifesting, and then receiving.
Mm-hmm. And if you can think of the first couple of things that you want to attract, that's a great way to start. So let's say, for example, it's health. Maybe you want to attract only healthy cells to be developed and to split up and duplicate themselves in your physical body. So let's say it's a health one. So what are you attracting for the self health? What are you attracting for the collective? So the same thing, health, needs to be for the collective as well. So how can we manifest health for the collective? We can say something like that every single person is stepping into their own health, that their body is regenerating healthy cells, that they are healing themselves, that they are stepping into the healed version of themselves, that people are finding that they're getting healthier every day as opposed to anything else. And then in terms of what are you then attracting for the collective, for the planet, that would be that the planet and Mother Earth is healthy, that there is abundance of health in the roots, in the water, in the trees, in the atmosphere, in the air, in our foods that we consume, and that Mother Earth herself is regenerating healthy cells for us to then go back to your first thing and you being healthy. So this really eliminates stuff. So at being as clear as possible and specific as possible. So your sentence for each category can literally be one sentence. It doesn't have to be a whole story. But you can see how the momentum kind of gathers itself. You started off with health for you, and then how are we doing it for the collective? How are you doing for the planet? And then it comes back to you. And that's momentum of creating a new timeline for the law of attraction to manifest health and to attract health in your quadrant or in yourself.
Yes, and it's beautiful. And being very specific is really key, because you want to know that you're attracting this. You want to do this in a way in which it's undoubtedly you as the creator. And so being as specific as you can be, and also stretching yourself further than just what you know can manifest or what you know you can attract, will also allow you to demonstrate to yourself that I am the attractor here. I am the master of what I'm creating. So being very specific is a key to that. Keeping it vague, it's hard to narrow down, like, did I create that? Did someone else create that? Why is it here? But being very specific, it's like, no, I asked for that thing. And when that thing shows up, you can't deny it because you wrote it down and you asked for it. So be as specific as you can, and there's no wrong answers to this. There's no wrong at all. It's all right because you're the creator. So create what you want, be specific, be honest. And in that honesty, it will bring up the things that you have not wanted to look at, or you may not look at, or you may not even be aware of. Because in that honesty, the only thing that can live there is what you desire to get. So make sure, if you want to be healthy and whole, make sure you say, I want to be healthy and whole. Don't say, I kind of want to be in good health, because you're leaving that open to a lot more possibilities than just being healthy and whole. There's nothing wrong with asking for the specifics of your desire, because that's the point of being the creator.
And the whole point of attracting for the collective and for the planet is to know that, one, expansion, because if you're only attracting and doing things for the self, then where is your own expansion? So number one is expansion, but it's also to know that you are a reflection of the collective and you are a reflection of the planet. So what's happening in yourself and what's happening in your life, what's happening in your experience and your reality also will be copy pasted in the collective and copy pasted in the planet, and vice versa. So it's one timeline that you're continuously feeding. So when you start to think about what you do want to attract, then it's almost like you're feeding energy to that specific timeline for it to only reflect in the planet, only reflect in the collective, and only reflect back into your life.
Beautiful. So with that reflection, you don't have to worry about how is the planet going to change. In that reflection, you don't have to worry about, I need to get hundreds of people to follow me. In that reflection, you don't need to broadcast this to thousands. The energy is doing it for you. You're creating the energetic imprint of that attraction point for other people who want to step into that same vibration to latch onto. So the planet can latch onto that vibration and allow that vibration to permeate through herself, through the collective. So the idea of you, the understanding of you being the self, the collective, and the planet should start to eliminate the idea that I need to reach millions of people. I need to build a massive following. I need to show the world. I need to tell everyone about this. Those things become a expression of your truth rather than a lack-based desire of how do I get this, because if people don't find this out, then the planet doesn't change. You are changing the planet by setting your attraction point, because you are the self. And the self is whole within the collective. The collective is whole by having the self. The collective is also whole by being within the planet, and the planet is only whole by having the collective, which has the self. So this is harmony. This is unity. This is oneness. This is why it's called unity currency. And so starting it from this place, this is how the change ripples through.
And you might be confronted with some realizations of, you know, I want health, or I want the home, or I want the car, or I want the relationship. And, you know, how do you manifest a relationship for the collective? It's for the self. How do I manifest a relationship for the planet? I'm the one experiencing the relationship. It might confront you in a way that I want a relationship, and I want this level of relationship of two-way communication, of compatibility, of friendship, of growth and expansion, of two souls coming into one. And that's for the self. And for the collective, I want a coexisting relationship with the collective souls around me. I want everybody to share in love and kindness and gratitude. The relationship that I have with Mother Earth, I want it to be a deep-rooted connection where it's exchange of love, it's exchange of energy, it's compatibility at the deepest level. So you can go through all of those things. It's just thinking beyond the self. Relationships is an interesting one, because you may be in relationships, you may be attracting relationships that you don't want, or being in the point of like, why am I continuously in this pattern of, you know, not finding the right person, or being cheated on, or being lied to, or deceived, or something like that. So when you're doing your three things, just be aware that these kinds of things can come up, because perhaps you're not clear on what you want to attract specifically in a relationship. So you're giving the space and room for the same energy to come in. That's the pattern, and that's how it starts. So just be aware that these things can come up, and you can always reach out to us. We can work through how to cut that cord, how to bring in a new light and a new energy, how to release yourself from that timeline and start a new timeline. But just be aware that doing the work will bring things up, and that's how you know it's working.
Yes.
Because if nothing is coming up while doing this exercise, you know, that's denial of the reality of the existence of what's happening around you.
But it's also, just to add in, it also means you're stuck in a quadrant. And if you're stuck in a quadrant, take that moment to go, what can I release? What can I let go of? What do I need to see that I'm not seeing right now? Because stagnancy should not happen. That's the point of the spiral.
Light cannot stay still. It has to move. So does energy. It doesn't stay still. It's constantly moving and bouncing off of light and off of each other. So just be aware that those things can come up. Let's do another example. What's another example?
Well, I think the relationship one is a great one. And just to chime in on that, really understanding that.
It could be relationship with partner.
Yes.
It could be relationship with child, relationship with sister, brother, whatever.
Yeah. Family, friends, work. What is your relationship with work like? What is your relationship to the word work? is another one that you could do, because the good thing about relationships is it's broad and yet specific, because refining your relationships can refine all of your relationships. What's the difference between a romantic relationship and a non-romantic relationship? Is there any difference besides we called one romantic and we called the other one non-romantic? What does that actually mean to you? Is something that you could play around with. And what are you attracting from a romantic relationship that's different from the planet? Do you want love and intimacy from the planet just as well as you want love and intimacy from your friends and family, as well as your romantic relationships? Now, love and intimacy will manifest differently, but it doesn't mean that your friend relationships are not an intimate relationship compared to your romantic relationship. The intimacy may manifest differently,
Well,
but they
it
could
might.
be the
The
same.
intimacy can also be vulnerability. Putting yourself completely out there, judgment or non-judgment
Judgment-free,
zone.
yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean a physical touch or physical intimacy.
So relationships is a cool one. Another example I think is like, let's use a thing. A thing would be like a house, a car. I want my dream place, or a trip. Let's use a trip. A trip is, I think a holiday is one that is a good one to go with. So how does your trip, your vacation, let's say going to Spain, what are you attracting for yourself in this trip? What are you attracting for the collective, and what are you attracting for the planet? A cool thing that I learned about doing trips is you can go, I'm going to Spain, right? But then you could get very specific. I want to go business class. I want to go first class. I want to have enough space where I'm comfortable on the plane. I want to stay in a house of my dreams. I want to stay in a suite where all things are taken care of. I desire to be at a hotel where everything's included and I have more than enough financial abundance to take care of this trip. You could do my airport experience. What am I attracting for my airport experience?
So basically, like, detail step by step of the whole trip, not just I'm going to Spain.
Yes.
Like thinking out and planning out the whole trip. But I think in terms of the quadrant, I'm going to Spain is enough. But then when you're doing your meditation of the spiral, that's when all the details come through. Like you're living it now. You're in the airport. You're with the luggage. You're going down the business class lounge. Instead of walking past it, going into economy, you see your seat and you sit in it. You feel it.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. You can do that in the meditation.
And with what I'm saying is you could also do a few. So let's say you do 2 or 3 for the self. How does this work for the collective? Traveling with ease and grace through airports, making airport travel easy for the collective.
Everybody wants that.
Making airport travel easy for the collective. Making people feel the feeling of safety and comfort while traveling.
The example of using the attraction quadrant and sharing that with the collective, that this worked and that you are actually in Spain.
Yes. What are you doing with the planet? I'm connecting to the planet. I'm living on the land. I'm touching new earth in which I am downloading my light and uploading new light codes and informations to return home back to where I'm at.
I'm in the waters of the Mediterranean for the upgrade and the download for the connection of a deeper relationship to Mother Earth.
Yes, I'm eating local foods and supporting local economies so that the local atmosphere grows and expands
and
to be self-sustainable.
To more visitors.
Yeah. So there's a lot you can do with travel, and you could get very detailed. And if it feels like it's getting too detailed, do it as another spiral. So you could do my trip to Spain as a spiral, and then my trip through the airport as a spiral, and then my time on the land as a spiral. The financial abundance for my trip can be its own spiral. You could make multiple
I think
spirals.
The most important thing is that you're surrendering the how is this going to happen. You're surrendering that. You are just creating what you want. to happen. But you're not creating that, a flight center is going to have a 2-for-1 offer that's so amazing and that's in your budget, or that you get a phone call and you've won a free trip, or you're not controlling how it's coming to you. You're just creating, let's say, the portal or the spiral for this specific thing to happen, and then surrendering the how and just allowing any way, shape, or form of how it's going to come to you.
Yes. So be very clear with the desires and release the how. And I think that's a good way to sum up the attraction quadrant. So be true to your desires. Sit with this. Allow it to flow through you. Allow what you want to attract to come up to the surface. It's a great time of year for that to take place as we move into a new cycle of a new year. And as we step into this holiday season in which joy becomes the theme, it's a great time to define your attraction, because if you could hold yourself in joy with the collective and the planet being in joy during the holiday season, then you're expanding and speeding up that momentum of the desires in which you want to attract.
And another point is that the first one is the self, then it's the collective, then it's the planet. You cannot attract for somebody else. It's the self. The somebody else would be as part of the collective, greater than the person that you're trying to manifest for. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yes, and to echo that point, the collective is the other, but also recognize the collective is the self. So when you start to merge those two, you're still not manifesting it, so to speak, for someone else, because you are the collective. And in that recognition that you are the collective, then you're still manifesting for you, and you're not technically manifesting for someone else. And when you recognize that the planet is the collective and is the self, you're still just manifesting for you, which is why you're never actually manifesting for anyone else.
Right. And then when you do this and you have the trip to Spain, you have the car, you have the house, you have the relationship, and this spiral is working and you have attracted all of the things that you want in your life, it's not time to stop. It's time to go bigger, or a more expanded version of that. So, what are you attracting in terms of an economy? What are you attracting in an energy source for all people to have free energy, for all people to have access to water, for the planet to expand beyond borders and visas and immigration, for educational systems to be co-creative and not dictative. So you can really go as small or as expanded as you feel and as you see fit.
Yeah.
But after the fun stuff of the materialistic things, which is, your birthright, it's your energy, you can go for it as much as you want. You can really start to play with the things that is like, actually, I also want this for the planet.
Yeah.
And the collective and the planet becomes more of like the fun play area as opposed to the self, because you're part of both anyway.
Yes. So if you attract visa-free travel for the collective, then guess what? You get to experience visa-free travel as the self. If you attract no borders across the planet, then you will get to experience that as the collective and as the self, as well as the planet.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So we'll be so excited to hear and to go with you on this journey and see all of the amazing things that you're attracting. And also amazing if you're stuck on something, because we can totally jump in and help you on that.
Yes, so please share with us the effect, the.effect on Instagram. Please share on the YouTube channel, here with us in the comments. We have a community page. There's a community tab in which we update regularly and add stuff to. Love to hear comments there as well. So just engage with us in any way that feels best, and we will assist how we can.
Yeah. Happy attracting.
See ya.